For this tutorial, I have built a simple entity hierarchy. Entity X is shared across parents 1A and 1B. Parents 1A and 1B roll up to parent 1, which rolls up to top parent. Shared entity X is inactive under parent 1B and active under parent 1A. Parent 1A is also inactive. I have also created an approval unit hierarchy named quarterly approvals and assigned owners. With enhanced organization by period enabled, note that both instances of the shared entities are displayed as a separate approval unit within the hierarchy, meaning that each instance of the shared entities can be managed separately and will maintain its own approval status. I have assigned the approval unit hierarchy to a specific scenario, year, and period combination. I'll navigate to the Manage Approval page to start and manage the approval process. Without enhanced organization by period enabled, when you start a base entity, its parent and ancestors are also started. If you start a parent entity without enhanced organization by period enabled, all its descendants are also started. With enhanced organization by period enabled, when you start a base entity, the system considers the active-inactive status of the entity to determine if the start or exclude action should stop when it encounters an inactive entity within the hierarchy. Recall that in this example, shared entity X under parent 1B is inactive. When I start entity X under parent 1B, the approval status changes to unlocked. However, because the entity is inactive, its parent and ancestors remain not started. In an enhanced organization by period application, when you start a base entity, the system also starts all active parents and ancestors, but as it enumerates upward, it will stop when it encounters an inactive parent or ancestor. Recall that parent 1A is inactive. If I start base entity X under parent 1A, the system stops when it encounters inactive parent 1A, so ancestors parent 1 and top parent are not started. When a parent entity is started, the system will start only its active children or descendant. When traversing the hierarchy, it stops enumeration downward when it encounters an inactive child. In this example, parent 1A and entity X under parent 1B are inactive, so when I start top parent, parent 1A and its child entity X and entity X under parent 1B are not included in the start process. The system considers the active-inactive status of an entity for these approval actions: start, exclude, promote, approve, lock, and unlock. To demonstrate locking and unlocking functionality for the remainder of this tutorial, I will change the ownership settings. The consolidation method for the shared entities is changed from inactive to proportional, and parent 1A is changed from inactive to subsidiary. Note, if the approval process has started for an entity and you change the consolidation method from active to inactive or vice versa, you get a warning message that the approval process for the entity will be restarted after the ownership changes. I'll also lock the top parent and its descendants on the Manage Ownership page. Ownership must be locked before approval units can be locked. Now I'll start the top parent in the quarterly approvals hierarchy. You can view the lock status and lock and unlock entities on the approvals process page. Similar to other stages in the approval process, with enhanced organization by period enabled, you can lock and unlock shared entities separately from the primary instance. If the approval unit for one instance of a shared entity is locked, then common data cannot be entered to any other instance of the shared entity, regardless of the status of that instance. However, node data is only locked for the instance or instances for which their approval unit is locked. Note that you cannot enter node data to an inactive entity if its parent is locked. With enhanced organization by period enabled, the system considers both calculation status and node status for promote, approve, and lock actions. You can perform promote, approve, and lock actions If an entity's calculation status and node status is OK, no data, or system change, you cannot lock an entity with an impacted calculation status. With enhanced organization by period enabled, entities with a not started status are included in the consolidation process. Locking a parent also locks both started and not started active descendants. To learn more, visit docs.oracle.com.